the Better Together Relationship Summit. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest today, Mr. Ronald Stanton. Mr. Stanton, can you share with the people a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, my name is Ronald Stanton, and I'm a relationship coach for Atlanta Couple Therapy. It's a job that only I could receive from the man upstairs. I enjoy the job because I have transformed families' lives as a result of the work that I do. I've been doing the relationship coach for a little over 2 years, and it's the most rewarding job I ever had.
You guys don't know this, but Mr. Stanton has just, oh my gosh, gotten so many tremendous transformations with the clients that he works with. It's so rare for people to be able to work with a man because in our work as coaches is very female dominated. And so I see clients all the time that are like, I want to see a man. I want to see a man. I want to see a man. And it's like you're a unicorn out there. So yes, I just love the work that you're doing. So let's get into our topic for today. So in our topic today, we are talking about some of the challenges that men experience as husbands and some of the things that you have found have been really effective for them in terms of the restoration of their relationships and their families. So why don't we start off with the challenges? One of the challenges that I see is blended families, but I wonder if you could speak on some of the challenges that you see in that area.
Well, as it relates to blended families, this is not just restricted to blended families. This
Mhm.
is a topic that every male should understand that when it comes to blended families, there's not a job that's too big for you.
Mm,
Historically, men were so restricted to the gender roles. And
mhm.
as we go into 2024, it needs to be understood that every job that a woman does, a man can do it as well, except have children. So,
Mhm.
with that being said, just the thought of, well, that's my wife's job. I'm saying to you, that's unacceptable. I cook, I clean, I plan for the family, I talk to the kids. Um, I talk to the kids about their day. I talk to the kids about their spirituality and their relationship with God. I talk to the kids about how was your day? What are some of the challenges that you're having in school? What are some of the challenges you having in your toughest subject? So as I prepare my meal uh, for my family, again, there's not a role that men going into 2024 do not have responsibility. The total concept of your household, men are responsible for. And I challenge men all over the world, step into your role, watch your family, reap the benefits from it.
Step into your role, King. Raise up, King. So, Mrs. Sin, I know that you have 4 children. Can you talk a little bit about some of those early years and what that was kind of like for you navigating fatherhood early on?
Well, uh, initially, I went to Morehouse College, and as I got there, I wasn't prepared.
Mm,
So basically, what I ended up doing is I had to work extra hard to make the grade. So one of the things that I did, I made sure that my kids were prepared academically to toggle through life. But in retrospect, a couple things happened. Um, I failed at not making sure that my kids were totally prepared to clean the room up. I didn't make sure that they shared the responsibilities of the household. So
mm,
inevitably, I learned from my older kids to institute responsibilities of the family. I'm talking about, as a man, my job is to make sure that my kids take responsibility for the road. My job is to make sure that they make the grade. My job is to make sure that I help out in the household. When they see their father working just as their mother side by side, it helps them understand some of the nuances of how to run a household. As we sit down to have dinner, we all join hands and have prayer. So it's so many additional things that men are responsible for. In addition to that, they're responsible for, as you go into a new relationship, you're responsible for that daughter, just like you was responsible for your older kids. You are responsible for showing that wife unconditional love. Love your wife like the Lord loved the church. Love all your kids and do not differentiate between, is that my daughter? Is that my stepdaughter? So it's so much goes into it. And as a result, you get a chance to be crowned king because everybody around, your family, your neighbors, they benefit from your knowledge.
So many great points. I hope you guys are taking notes. You probably need to rewind, listen to it again and again and again to make sure that you can implement some of the things that Mr. Stanton is sharing. And you guys are benefiting from years and decades of lived experiences and learning how to navigate some really challenging waters. So I just want to unpack a few things that you've shared. So one of the things you shared is we need to have shared gender roles where it's nothing that is above us, nothing that is like, oh, well, I can't wash the dishes because of fill in the blank. I am a man or I worked X number of hours. And so just really taking full responsibility for making sure that the family stays afloat on every level, spiritually, emotionally, academically, on every level. So let's talk a little bit about how you navigated blending your families, because one of the challenges that I see that couples face is the child saying, "You're not my daddy," and another challenge I see is
Yes.
the the other parent saying, well, you didn't treat my kid the same way that you treated your kid, and they should have the same X, Y, and Z. Can you talk a little bit about that personally?
Well, I could tell you personally, just hearing "You're Not My Daddy," it resonates with me from the perspective of, wow, all I want to do is bring love into this child's life. And as opposed to being, how would I put it? As opposed to being offended by "You're Not My Daddy," what about, I'm going to love you so much, teach you so much that that'll never be a conversation that I have to reintroduce myself to. Meaning that love conquers all. And as you spend time, kids are able to quickly identify, this person is he's an advocate for me.
Mm-hmm.
He loves me. He loved me just as much as my dad, my biological dad. And as you get into that role, you push even harder to make sure that that child have all the tools to be successful. Now, I just want you to know, before my daughter or stepdaughter, before she called her mom, she want to call me. I used to be that man. Guess what? Now I'm a father. A
Mm-hmm.
bonus is awesome. And you too can tap into your whole circle love. All you got to do is work unconditionally, giving them the tools, and they can differentiate between what's real and not real. You got to give the kids a chance. I promise you, everybody will win.
That is good. That is good. So you have seen navigating from that man in there to I'm called like to your bonus daughter calling you first when it's a
Right.
challenge, her coming to you and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me navigate this?"
Absolutely.
And then also, just from what I personally know of you getting her into college, like applying to college is not an easy thing to do. But you really doubled down on making sure that she had everything that she needed to navigate that process. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that was for you going from that man to like you doing college applications and you
Well, let
talk.
me tell you something. A lot of my baggage stemmed from my experience in Morehouse when I had some challenges and I continued to push myself outside of anything that I knew. So as all the all my kids went to college and all my kids have done extremely well. And as we talk about that, uh, I remember my wife saying, "Oh no, she's not gonna leave home." And I was like, "Well, just based on my experiences, kids grow as a result of leaving home." So inevitably, what I did was I finally convinced my daughter, uh, my wife, to allow and support my daughter going to FAMU.
Mhm.
And as she transitioned to FAMU, we were able to find that my daughter was just growing, growing, growing as a result of her own personal experiences. And after she tackled FAMU, she decided that she wanted to go to graduate school. And of course, my wife, she came back to me and she shared with me, Ron, that was the best thing that you could have positioned for our daughter. And not only did she finish FAMU, she's one class from getting a master's. So I attribute that to that unconditional love that I invested in the early rounds, not worrying about any perceptions about anything incorrect as it relates to our relationship. I continue to make deposits not only into my daughter's life, but in my wife's life. And
Mm,
wow, let me tell you what the difference is. I can conceivably see my stepdaughter getting her PhD.
mhm. For
So everybody benefit from that investment. And I want everybody to know either you invest on the front end or pay on the back end.
that
Because they
is
got places for kids that don't have the nurturing that I'm offering to you. You have ability to call me, talk to me about some of the challenges so that you don't make the same mistakes I made. In addition to that, you get a chance to see right before your eyes the benefit of being a strong Black man, representing everything that God would say, that's okay.
I think that that is such a great point because a lot of times men have to step into a role where they've never seen modeled before. And that can be very scary to be doing a job that you're like, well, I don't even know what it looked like to be a husband. I didn't see a father growing up doing these sorts of things. And so can you speak to the man out there who they're
I
like,
can certainly do it, Dr. Lewis. Let me tell you something. When you think about relationships, you never think about you being in a bad situation for so long. And as I talk about some of the challenges that I had in my first marriage, and I think about how important it is for men not to make the same mistakes that Ron has made. So as a result of all the pain that I have went through, I get a chance to save men from years and years are walking in the desert. I get a chance to talk to men about some of the things that they can put in place that will allow them to reap the benefits from Ron's experiences. So I'm telling you, as you call me via Atlanta Couple Therapy, get yourself on the calendar. I get a chance to speed up your growth time. There's a good chance that there was not a father in the household. There's a
Mm-hmm.
good chance that there was an abusive relationship. Ron can talk to you about all these issues. I joke about having them in my pocket because those were the experiences that I had when I was not prepared. I have those experiences so I can help you toggle through some of the struggles that men all over the world struggle with.
And one of the things that I think about related to this is you want to work with someone who has some real life experience. And that really matters. It's like when
Absolutely.
you're flying on a plane. Do you want to fly with a pilot who's only flown in simulated air conditions, or do you want to fly with a pilot that's gone through some thunderstorms and can navigate the waters when you're in a thunderstorm? I
I
think
think
that's it when they
I,
get you.
I think you spot on. You definitely want somebody who have had some experiences, somebody who have had the challenges, and uh, it's so second nature to me to be able to articulate some of the problems that I had, sharing life experiences. So it typically put my clients at ease,
Mm,
knowing that I have real life experiences. And a couple of my clients, I talked to them about some of the challenges that I had in Atlanta. Uh, since then, I have moved to Florida. But as I talk to them, they know based on some of the places, some of the situations, they know that Ron is giving them the sincere truth. And
mhm.
sometimes it
And
throws them off because of my knowledge of these places, you know?
yes, you can really appreciate working with someone who understands like what you're going through.
Yeah.
Um, know that's one of the things that clients can really like benefit from you is just learning from your lived experience. You share your wounds, you share how you overcame them, and that's such an amazing gift to be able to give your clients as a healer. Let's shift gears a little bit. um, let's talk about men and finances. So a lot of times in my experience of working with clients, I see that for some men they derive their sense of identity from what they're able to do financially. And society puts a lot of pressure on men in this way. Um but I'm just wondering, like, what has that been like for you in terms of the clients that you've worked with and helping them see that there is an identity and a value that they have outside of just money? How do they navigate when finances look a little tricky?
Well, I have had the privilege of working in leadership at Navy Federal Bank. And as a result of me working in leadership, I got an intimate understanding of finances. So some of the problems that I had historically in my life, I got a chance to see how money works. So in addition to that, I have over 30 years of management experience. So
Mhm.
not only do I talk about ways to gather multiple streams of income, I talk to men about climbing the corporate ladder and some of the challenges that we have climbing the corporate ladder. I have been able to transform so many people lives as a result of coaching them through some of the nuances of corporate America. So one of my clients, he has doubled his income. Another client has tripled his income. And I would definitely say they attribute it to Ron. So talking to them about, okay, what do you want to do? Well, right now I'm on the on my job. I'm just a worker? Do you
Mm-hmm.
vision of being a leader in the business? And start talking to them about how to dress, what's appropriate, how do you toggle through uh, climbing the corporate ladder, what are some of the things should be said, talk to them about their language. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, I have really, really enjoyed assisting folks, not just in the financial part, assisting them in climbing the corporate ladder
Mm-hmm.
and how that impacts the family. Wow. Call me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's so beneficial to be able to have a mentor, to have someone that looks like you and can guide you and can say, hey, I was in corporate America. I faced these types of challenges with people not believing in me or people not promoting me. And this is how I navigated that. Let me show you how you can do the same thing. That's such a rich like value that people get when they work with you. But I wonder if you could give maybe one or two tips for the people out there, particularly men who are in that space and they're struggling with their sense of identity because of issues in their career or issues in their finances. What do you say to them?
Well, the first thing I say is dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. So what that requires you to step up your game in terms of making sure that you're appropriately dressed. Matter of fact, when I first started at Navy Federal, several people walked up to me and say, well, uh, Mr. Ron, is there a reason that you got on a suit? I said, I love looking good. Then they went on to say, well, we make the same, our money is similar to the amount of money that we make. And all of a sudden, they came to me, they was like, well, Mr. Ron, I saw your name on the communique about you being promoted. And what that looked like is dressing for the job that you want and understanding all the intimate details of the job that you do. So you not only do the job well, you are prepared to teach others to be successful just as you. So
Yes.
that's
And
what it looks.
there's one particular situation without giving away any identifying information. Can you talk about like your experience in working with a person where they were ready to quit, like they were ready to just throw the towel up at the job? I'm done with this job, and how you walk them through that situation. You know what I'm
Well,
talking.
well, one of the things that I did is I had some employees that just didn't think they was built for the job. And as I peeled my onion back, I was able to realize that there was some external issues going on with that person. The young lady, she had a baby daddy that would not support the family. She
Mhm.
had issues with childcare. And
Mhm.
so I just spent a little time to peel back the onion and talk to her about being being the best that she could be. I talked to her about loving herself, and inevitably, this young lady ended up being a district manager. This
Mhm.
person, Mr. Ron, when I was at my lowest, I noticed that you came to me, you reassured me not only that I can do the job, but I can do the job better than the people that are leaders of the business. So I've
Mhm.
had a lot of people to surpass me in corporate America. And wow. And they thank me to the day. Ron, if it wasn't for you when I was at my moment of truth, going over that bridge of troubled water, I needed you, Mr. Ron. And guess what? I was there. And let me tell you what I received. I
Mhm.
received so many blessings from sowing so many seeds. I want to bless you too. I'm available.
And I know sometimes like the emotions of a situation can sometimes make people make very reckless decisions. Of like, I'm tired of this job, I'm stressed, they don't believe in me. And then in a 60-second moment, a person can make a decision to leave their job, and that impact how they can provide for their family. And I think being able to work with someone like you at that moment of truth, I know there are times when you may check in on your clients like throughout the week, just to make sure that
Yeah.
they hey, sometimes you need someone to work with that when your emotions get all over the place, you need someone to help stabilize you and say, hey, no, this is how we're going to handle this situation.
Well,
Talk about that.
correct. Actually, I had a client that he was so fed up with the job that he had decided he was going to put all his tools in the truck. And however, I made it very clear. I say, I'm available for impromptu conversations. So anytime you get at a crossroad and you don't know where to go, just give me a courtesy call. And my client called me and said, hey, I'm just fed up. I done put all the tools in the truck. I'm getting ready to go. And I spent a little time talking to him about what that looked like and the impact that it would have. And wow, as a result of that, he still want to reward me extra because he's like, man, I was so caught up in my emotions. I was getting ready to blow away my $150,000 job because of my emotions. And wow, that's one of the beauties of the job that I do. Knowing that at a moment's notice, one of my clients can call me seeking guidance and knowing that I have the tools to help them usher through those tough situations.
So, just talking to our listeners out there, you want to ask yourself, who is that for you? Who is that person that's going to show up for you when you're about to make the worst decision of your life, when you're on the edge and you're just like, I just might as well throw it all away? Do you have someone like that in your corner that's going to say, no, 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 we're not doing that? Come on back in and let me help you walk through this situation so you don't throw away something that you're going to need tomorrow.
It's so rewarding just to be that person that can be that bridge over troubled water. I know time and time again, the reason that I receive grace is because of those seeds. And man, I don't think there's a better job for me.
So and I love what you're doing. I love the work that you're doing. I love the results that you are getting for your people, for your clients. They just rave about you. And so you really are a difference maker, a life changer. You know, sometimes we think that it takes some big situation to be able to change the planet, but you're literally changing the planet every day with each person that you serve, that you guide, that you pour into, that you share with. Shouts out to you on the powerful work that you're doing in our community. As we start to prepare to wrap up, the last subject that I want us to talk about is conflict management. So sometimes men and women manage conflict differently. In my experience, sometimes men may have like one or two speeds. Either I'm totally shut down, I don't got nothing to say, or I'm on 10. And so I wonder if you could talk a little bit about like how you help men navigate conflict. Are there any strategies that you found has been helpful either in your own life or with the clients that you've been guiding in terms of conflict management?
Well, as we talk about conflict management, uh, in my household, and I share my personal experience, it's Team Stanton. Team Stanton represent understanding that as me and my better half, we're at a crossroad. We're trying to figure out, should we go right? Should we go left? And then the next question we have to ask ourselves, what's going to benefit the whole? Benefit the whole mean Team Stanton. what's going to benefit my wife, what's going to benefit our children. If we are making a decision and it does not encompass everybody reaping the benefits, the successful benefits of this decision, that means that it's a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
So, incumbent upon men, women to ask themselves, am I causing havoc because I'm being selfish? If
Mm,
come does not allow the whole family to reap the benefits, it's the bad decision. So what I try to do is peel back the onion to understand uh, what the whole family win is. It allows folks to understand that maybe me being not supportive of my husband or my wife, maybe I need to take a second look. So if it's not benefiting the whole family, if it's all about you, uh, then we're going to have a problem. I'm very passionate about the family, not the man, not the lady, the family. And I
mm-hmm.
and sharing uh, with my assertiveness, you're wrong.
Mm.
My objective is to help
Want to say you
redirect the family. Pardon?
sometimes you need someone that you can listen to that can pull you by your coattail and say, you handled that wrong. You could have handled that differently. Next time, this is how I want you to handle this, and you'll be more successful. Like you need someone sometimes outside of yourself to guide you. And when you're in a relationship, and call you to the carpet. And so I think that's one of the beautiful things about like your role as a relationship coach is you can be that person that speaks truth to power and says, no, that wasn't the best way to handle this.
Well, one of the things that I can truly tell you is that uh, I've raised three girls,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a son, an older son. And when I think about family, I'm able to extract various things from my personal experience. And I was the only son.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised with two sisters, and I raised three girls. So I understand from a woman's perspective some of the challenges that young women are having, the old women are having.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have been in this role as a father and a husband pretty much my whole life. So uh, I don't mind cutting to the chase with men because of the things that I've been through. And I certainly have a host of ladies that I've seen their plight. I've seen some of the struggles that they have. And I don't mind also holding their foot to the fire. Okay, Susie, you probably should have done that a little different. Let me tell you why. And I have the tangible information to redirect. So that's one of the gifts that God gave me, you know?
Mm-hmm. You have a really great blueprint for how you work with couples and take them from a place of stagnation to a
Yes.
place of growth and transformation. Let's talk a little bit about how do you navigate the shutdown partner? Because you have one person in the relationship that they're like, let's talk about this. We need to finish this conversation. And you may have another person in the partnership that is totally shut down. For the person who wants to engage their partner and they're shut down, what do you think they should do to engage them?
Well, uh, sometimes people shut down because they feel like they're not being heard. They feel like a victim.
Mm,
And what I find most of the time is that a lot of the problems stem from self-esteem. Uh,
mm,
in guys that had lost themselves. I'm talking about lost themselves. They come to the meetings and they disheveled. They out of shape. Uh, Academics was not something that they have toggled through very successful.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to reach people from where they are. And
Mm-hmm.
you find out where they are, you can easily put together short-term goals, mid-range goals, and long-term goals, and establish a vision board. And most of the time, people who have given up, a lot of times they're giving up because they are counseling themselves. They're talking to themselves. They're not engaged in, how we would say it, engaged in relationships that are fruitful, friends around positive people. So what I do is first build them up, and I take them from where they are, and I continue to build on a solid foundation so that folks can have short-term goals, long-term goals, mid-range goals, and reach all the goals that they ever dream of, plus surpass them. So you just
Mm-hmm.
got to get people from where they are and build them up. Just like I had self-esteem problems as a young man, and Dr. Lewis, that's not a issue that I have now. I feel
Now,
good about myself, and everybody around me know that I do my best to bring up the village. Okay.
mm-hmm. I think that, you raised such an important point is that sometimes when someone is shut down, it's because they don't feel good about themselves. They don't
Mhm.
feel heard. They don't feel like they matter. And so if that's where your partner is and your spouse is shut down, that may be an invitation to explore, well, how can I make sure that they feel heard? How can I make sure that they feel like their voice matters and that they matter? And and it's so much healing that can happen in a relationship when there's restoration in that area. Let's talk a little bit as we prepare to wrap up about you kind of talked about how it's team Stanton, and I want to just dive into that just a bit, so that people can get the nuggets on how they can apply that to their life. So one of the things that I think about related to what you said with team Stanton is that I can't I can't win and my spouse lose. Like that just don't make sense. We're in the boat together and I'm floating and my spouse is drowning. Make that make sense. And so often we get caught into, no, I'm right, you're wrong. You wrong and how you I'm right. Right. We get caught into that in our relationships without a willingness to say, no, I was selfish in how I handled that. No, I should have compromised. I'm sorry. Just some of these basic conversations are not happening in relationships. But I wonder if you could speak to how couples out there can get more into that space of what you describe as team stand. Now, for they'll fill in their last name, but how do they get to that space, you think?
Well, I had a situation where I had a couple that was at a pass, and inevitably, what I did was their problem was communication. So, as a result of that, I talked to them about the definitions of communication. So it was I pulled it up. It was three different definitions of communication, but all of them entail uh, two people having dialogue,
Mhm.
and the purpose was for when you talk, you share thoughts and you look for win-wins, and you go from there. What I did inevitably was I had the couple to send me five things that they liked about their partner. and I had them to send me 5 things that they can do better as it relates to communication. So as a result of me doing that, they sent me the information, and as they sent me that information, I was able to dive in and let them assess the 5 things that each partner wrote down that they liked about each other. And as
Mm,
I did that, what kept cropping up was the couple started to go off the beaten path and start
mm,
talking about some challenges they had. And as they talked about the challenges, I was able to allow them to speak to what they could have done differently.
mm,
And so amazing that they were able to find out that different phases that their request was selfish, and
mm.
the communication was not thorough because you didn't check with your partner to find out uh, if there was concurrence. You just made a decision, and that's not communication. Communication when two people come together and discuss an issue, and they able to find a win-win or find a safe place to land. So I I got to get the information and indulge in them. And once I do that, I'm able to help them talk through some of those circumstances.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. As we start to prepare to close, I'd love for you to share one parting piece of guidance. If all of the women in the world and men in the world, couples in the world were listening right now, what is one parting piece of guidance? Is that as I give you time to like think and consider like what you want that to be? Something that you said that really stood out to me is a lot of people are counseling themselves. And I think about like the scripture that says, he who counsels himself is a fool. And I think that that is such a poignant scripture because we have a lot of people out there who are not plugged in to a coach, to a therapist, to a mentor that can really guide them and help them gain some wisdom on how to navigate challenging situations. What's one parting piece of guidance you give to them?
Well, the first thing is that in order for the relationship, the reason that the relationship, not the reason that the relationship went off the rails, but the relationship went off the rails, and inevitably, uh, it didn't get there overnight. This is years and years of bad decisions, years and years of fighting and strife. So my parting thing is there's not a reason for you to counsel yourself.
Mhm.
As you said, a fool would counsel himself. My objective is to give folks the tools to be successful. So I encourage you to call Atlanta Couple Therapy, and something that perhaps took me 30 years to achieve good, bad results. So the man upstairs gave me the tools to present to you so that you don't have to be in the desert for 30 years, and you can pull yourself up with the support of Atlanta Couple Therapy, whether it's me or some of the other relationships coaches, and we will guide you to an efficient, effective way to turn your life around. And my best bet is that you will turn your life around financially, you'll turn your life around from your relationship, and your children will benefit. My parting conversation is call Atlanta Couple Therapy now, yesterday, so that you don't have to spend 30 years trying to find your relationship, or 30 years trying to find your financial wellness. We're here for you.
Mr. Stan, thank you so much for coming in today for the Better Together Summit and pouring
Thank
into our couples and sharing your own wounds, sharing the challenges that you face and how you navigated them, and also sharing tools and strategies that typically is only reserved for clients who work with you one on one. You gave the couples out there a glimpse of what they have in store for them when they take the next step and investing in themselves by working with you. Guys out there, I want to invite you to give a call to our office at 404-496-8070 and book in a session today with Mr. Stanton. You can also book a session with him directly on our website. Links will be in the chat. Have a wonderful rest of the day.